What's up, guys? Coach Vassar. Thank you for joining me with OTF Audio Daily Beats. As always, if you're new, appreciate you coming in and finding this, and hopefully this video gives you plenty of information on how to set up for success on these workouts. If you find value in them, information is in the description to support me. I will preface this saying that my little guy is right over here having breakfast, so if he starts screaming, I'm so sorry. Also, you may hear Miss Rachel in the background. Good times. Anyways, we're working down Thursday, April 24th. This was a random workout later in the month that does not repeat. Didn't catch that until the day before, so I'm making this video now. We're gonna see endurance across the board on the treads, rower, weight floor, so pretty solid little mix-up compared to the 3 days prior of power, strength, power. So endurance across everything. We'll break down the 2G, go over the 3G, and then get you on out of here. For the key concepts today, on the treads, we'll see 2 endurance blocks. In block 1, the push gets shorter. In block 2, they get longer. On the rower, you'll be on the rower 3 times today, and you'll cut your distance in half every time. You'll start at 800 meters and then chop it down. On the floor, it's 1 long block with high rep combos to help work on muscular endurance. You will need benches out for today. So as we talk about the treadmills, we're gonna see 2 blocks as mentioned. The first block is 11 minutes. There is actually 2-minute walk recovery, get back to base when they're ready, and then a 10-minute block. Now they're gonna be set up the same way with push-base pairs. In block 1, we're gonna see 2 of those, and then a 1-minute push into a 1-minute all out. The push is gonna start at 3 minutes, the base is 2 minutes. Then the push will decrease by a minute, so you'll see 2 minutes there, 2-minute base, and then that 1-minute push, 1-minute all out. The goal here is to maintain or increase push intensity. Big thing to realize is a 2-minute base effort is a very long time of active recovery within the confines of this block. So we should see heart rate trending downward, potentially into the green during this. So if members start with a conservative push, power walkers 4% or greater, joggers, runners, probably just about 1 over their base. If they're on the bike and strider, keep it simple, 3 gears over base every time. We should see them approach that orange zone about halfway through that first 3-minute push, maybe during that final minute. And then it'll still carry into their base for about 20, 30 seconds before it starts to lower out and dip down into green. Now, as they go into the 2-minute push, if that first push felt pretty good, let's use it again. If it wasn't too bad, they could add to it. Because keep in mind, they do get that 2-minute base on the other side as well. And then finally, that 1-minute push, if they could increase incline, if they power walk, if they could add another 0.1 or more on the speed. Bikes and striders, I would actually honestly keep them still 3, maybe up to 4 gears over base. And then they finish with that push into that all out. During this 2-minute walk recovery, most people will probably take about 45 seconds to a minute to truly recover, see that heart rate start to get mid-green or even low-green blue, and then encourage them to get back to base. One cue that I like to kind of reference is the 3 things. 1, heart rate response. If their heart starts dipping down and it gets into the green, heart has started to recover, let's get back to work. The other one is how they feel. Right after that all out, they're definitely gonna be very out of breath. When they could start breathing normally, cool, let's get back to base. And the final way, sometimes it's just a commitment of recovery to a certain duration. Maybe they set themselves saying, hey, I'm only gonna walk for 30 seconds no matter what, and they get back to work, or 45, or a minute, whichever works for them. All right, now in block 2, we're gonna see increase in durations of the pushes, but the base is also cut in half. We're gonna see 3 rounds of a push-base combo, so there is actually 1 extra round of base, but overall time duration, it is still shorter compared to block 2. We'll start with a 1-minute push, 1-minute base. Push will then go to 2 minutes with a 1-minute base, and then 3-minute push, 1-minute base, 1 minute all out. The big thing here is with the increased amount of work compared to recovery, heart rate is gonna stay elevated. So if they start on that more aggressive push, heart rate's gonna get up there. That 1-minute base may allow them to drop a couple beats per minute, but they may not go from like orange down to green. So allow them to kind of struggle through that base in that elevated heart rate and really go off of the feeling of recovery from their breath. And also notice that heart rate ebb and flow, right? We're not gonna see big drops during these these shorter base efforts. As the push gets longer, can they maintain it? Or if needed, decrease their push. The other thing they could also do, and it's mentioned in the daily beat, is if we don't see that heart rate recovery during base on that first round, let's have them adjust their base the second and potentially third round, like in block 2. Okay, and of course they finish at that 1 minute all out. They match, they could try to beat it from block 1. Now, on the weight floor, you have one long 22.5 minute block here, which that time duration is actually incorrect because they actually have just 23 minutes, because you look at the tread side, 11, 2, 10, it's 23 minutes. So on the floor, even though the header says 22:30, it is 23 minutes. So just pay attention to that. They're gonna start with an 800 meter row. For the group that starts on the rower, this is great because it's almost like an extended warm up for them to get that full body engagement. They get to choose their own row intensity, and the goal is to maintain or increase the intensity every round. With this being an 800 meter row, it's a great opportunity to talk about the stroke rate and their split time, because keep in mind, the treads are doing a 3-minute push. They should be able to finish this 800 meter row within that 3-minute push. And also prepares them for the 1,000 meter benchmark they're gonna see next month. Cool. What I would recommend here is around base or just above their base. So with a longer duration row like this, honestly, anything 500 meters or longer, I really like to use split time as the gauge of intensity, because that's going to be a lot more consistent. Sure, it's going to change a few seconds, but it doesn't nearly change as much as wattage will on a per stroke basis. So during the warm-up, get them to pay attention to their split time as they try to establish their base. And then during this 800 meter row, see if they could keep their split time at that, or potentially 1 to 2 seconds under, because then that'll be closer to like a base push intensity. Once they finish that 800 meter row, we're gonna see a total of 4 dumbbell exercises. Everything is gonna be a combination movement. We're gonna see an alternating step out squat to a transverse squat. So new-ish movement. These are movements that we've seen before, but first time paired up together. They're gonna step out to the side and then rotate, then hit the other side, okay? Then that's gonna pair it up into the alternating single arm chest press into a chest press. So for this one, they're gonna start with the arms extended. They'll go down, down, and then both down. That will make 1. They have 4 reps. If you really break it down though, it is like 8 reps if you add the 2 singles together. So they wanna use a light to moderate weight, at least for that first round. And then as they go through it, if they were able to get 4, no problem, moderate, and then eventually potentially heavy. Then we're gonna see lateral lunge to cross back lunge. This is one where they're gonna do it all on one side. So they'll step out for that lateral lunge. That leg will then go behind to load up the other side of the hip. They'll do 4 in one direction, then step out the other. And then we're gonna see the high row, low row. Now for the high row, low row, obviously you're targeting upper shoulders, the back, and the upper back. So they wanna pick a weight for the high row. Low row will feel it pretty easy, or if they could pick something kind of in between what they normally do, it'd be a good challenge for that high row, and then not too bad on the low row. This is one where if they have any lower back issues, get them on the TRX, and they could hit that high row, low row combo on the straps. Once they finish that, they go back to the rower. Now they're gonna do 400 meters. Once again, maintain or increase the intensity. So if maintain, can we hold the same split time as we did for the 800 meter row? If we're trying to increase the intensity, could we drop another 1 to 2 seconds? So if their base split time was 2 minutes and they did their 800 meter row at a 158 split, can we see 156, 157 on average? They'll go through their movements again, and then their final row is a 200 meter row. Ideally, this is around a push to a push all out effort, no more than a minute, and then they hit their movements. And those 3 movements is what those 4 movements is what they'll repeat until you call time. And the finisher is going to be a low side plank. They're gonna do that for 30 seconds per side. So when the treads hit their 1 minute all out, they'll start on one side. When the treads hit that halfway point, weight floor will switch to the other side. And that's the 2G. Looking at the 3G, we're gonna see 1 long block at every station. The tread side, it's essentially a nice 14.5 minute endurance block. We're gonna see a push with a 90-second base. Just like in block 1 of the 2G, the push is gonna decrease. So can we maintain or increase? We're gonna see 3 minutes, 2.5 minutes, 2 minutes, and a 90-second push. And of course, the base is still 90 seconds every time. So in total, there's gonna be 3 rounds of the push base pair. And then they finish with that bonus of a 90 push into a 1 minute all out, okay? Same thought process applies there. Could they start conservative, work on increasing, or start more moderate to aggressive and maintain that? And then if they need to adjust, make their base fluid, adjust their base so they could actually find that heart rate response recovery. For the rower, 1,000 meters, fun, all right? But they're also gonna decrease their distance in half. So they'll start at 1,000, 500, 250 meters. So just like with the 800 meter row, that 1,000 meters, that might be at a base push, that 500 meters push, and then 250 push all out effort. Use that split time to give them that better understanding of what to expect, especially when it comes to the 1,000 meter row benchmark in May. Then they go into the med ball squat and then alternate knee raise with rotation. So the med balls here, they do 8 squats, and then they'll pick up one knee, rotate towards that side, pick up the other side, rotate the other way. If they complete all 3 rounds, they just row until the finisher, which is gonna be that 1 minute all out with the treads. On the weight floor, it is the circuit from the 2G, and they're just gonna repeat that with the same finisher as well. Low side plank, 30 seconds per side. All right, all in all, with this endurance day, this is a great opportunity to kind of tease that 1,000 meter row benchmark they're gonna see in May, talk about strategies on how to best set members up for success because you have those 3-minute push efforts at the beginning of the first tread block. I'll touch more about the 1,000 meter row benchmark as we approach that in May, to talk about my personal strategies of what I want members to do, and we go from there. Other than that, if you have any questions, any feedback, as always, please let me know. Coach it down. You got this.